다크의 반대말은 무엇일까? 라이트이다. 빛이 많아지면 라이트이고 빛이 없어지면 다크이다. 어떤 색상이든 빛을 완전히 제거하면 모두 블랙이 된다. 이처럼 모든 현상에는 밝은 면과 어두운 면이 공존한다. 다크투어는 어둠 속의 대화 공간처럼 칠흑같이 어두운 곳을 불편하게 돌아다니는 것일까? 햇빛이 미치지 않는 캄캄한 동굴 속살을 구경 가는 것도, 어두운 밤에 위험하게 걷는 야행도 다크투어라 할 수 있다. 하지만 내가 말하는 다크투어는 그것이 아니다. 우리 인간이 과거에 저지른 나쁜 악행이 벌어졌던 곳을 직접 찾아가 보고 우리 스스로 반성하는 그런 여행이다. 시간을 거슬러 올라가 어두운 역사를 반면교사 삼아 뼈저린 교훈을 배우는 여행이다. 다크투어는 인간이 저지른 어두운 현장을 찾아가 오늘에 되살려보는 시공간 여행이다.
Shanty town, which is called the 달동네 in Korean, is still behind the Greek city of Seoul. First episode of Dark Tour, we'll visit 달동네 in Seoul. Our first destination is 홍제동 개미 village. Hi there, I'm standing at the top of the ant village, which is 개미마을 in Korean. This village was formed after war migrants settled down after the Korean War. Beginning of development of village was called it Indian village, but the name was changed in 1983 to mean that it was a village where residents worked like ants. If development is carried out in the future, the village will be renamed Golden Village. In 2009, 130 art students from universities in the Seoul metropolitan are volunteered to paint 51 paintings in the village under the different themes of welcome, nature-friendly, life like a movie, and in start. About 216 households and 463 people lived in the village 2007. The 30-year development restriction zone was lifted and the use was changed to residential areas. So the residents tried to develop it, but with low accessibility and probability, the project was being carried out as a migration site, but there is still a conflict of migration and development among the residents. This village was preserved in the 1960s and 1970s in Seoul. So it has a very important stage background in the film industry. Typically, it was filmed Miracle in Cell Number 7. Songbuk-dong is where the street of Bugat Mountain flows and symbol of wealth. At the top of Songbuk-dong, there is our second destination, 북정 Village. This is where the poet Han Yong-eun lived. This place where I'm standing is one of the Shanty town in Seoul, which is 북정 Village. This village is located outside of Seoul City Wall, which is about 18 kilometers long and has been formed since the Joseon dynasty. During the Joseon dynasty, the people were moved to Seongbuk-dong, along with the military camp guarding the fortress. But when many people left the palace due to the harsh mountain conditions, the government finally gave them the right to make fermented soybeans, which was called it 북적거, the Bukjang village, due to the constant noise of making fermented soybeans in Korea.
엄마, 너 어디가?
After the liberation of Japan and Korean War, people gathered outside the capital city, and there were many empty spaces around the fortress, making it a representative collective residence for the poor. 67.2% of this town is privately owned, and the rest of them is government owned. Mane Han-yong-un was born in 1879 in South Chungnam Province. His real name is Jung-oh and his legal name is Yong-un. Buddhist name is Man-hae. He was an independence activist, poet, and Buddhist monk. His major books include The Silence of Love.
님의 침묵. 님은 같습니다. 아, 사랑하는 나의 님은 같습니다. 푸른 산빛을 깨치고 단풍 숲을 향하여 작은 길을 걸어서 차마 떨치고 갔습니다. 황금의 꽃같이 긋고 빛나던 옛 맹세는 차디찬 티끌이 되어서 한숨의 미풍에 날아갔습니다.
I'm standing right in front of Simujang, where Han-yong-un lived from 1933 to 1944. When he returned to Seoul in 1933, his acquaintances provided a place to live, which is Simujang. Here, Shimu comes from a Buddhist legend that compares the process of finding and carrying out enlightenment to finding a cow. Originally, Koreans prepared to build a house to face southern direction, but when he started to build the house, foundation of the building was facing the Japanese government building. He didn't want it. So he intentionally built a house opposite direction, which is against the Japanese government building on the hillside of the mountain. This episode is one of famous story. After Man-hae's death, his only daughter Han Yong-suk lived there. But when the Japanese embassy's residence was located across the street, she moved to Myeongnyun-dong. And Simujang was used as a think institute in Man-hae. Today, we visited Gemi village and Bukjang village and Simujang. What I felt today was that there were still villages in Seoul where buildings in their 60s and 70s were preserved. And I thought it would be good enough for these villages and for the tourism industry if I could make good use of this background. So far, I'm Heather. Camera is Wu. Thank you.